This is the perfect summation to the 20th century,
Martians.
which has seen two of the
This is
worst
great.
wars in human history. But
Please come to Earth,
it's
Tino.
also
Okay, this is Jimmy Jive, and you're listening to Motor City Rock Talk. Today, my guest is a guitar player who's played on the local scene for a number of years with the Howling Diablos, Tino G and the Dumpster Machine, and of course his band, Face, who will be playing at the Token Lounge March 8th with Blasternaut, Mighty Jones, and Overloaded. So anyway, my guest today is a guitar player from Face, His name is Mike Smith. Hey, Mike, how you doing?
How you doing, James? Nice to talk to you.
Yeah, it's great talking to you too, bud. All right, let's start out with a little background. Tell me a little bit about where you're from originally and what drew you to playing music, specifically guitar.
All right, I'm from Redford, Michigan, right outside of Detroit. Yeah, I just heard music as a kid and just loved, just really. My brother Sean and I would drill through our parents' records and would find like Elvis and Ricky Nelson, Donovan, stuff like that, and we just really were fascinated by that. We listened to the radio as much as possible. My dad listened to an oldies station with Casey Kasem. We always listened to the top 40.
Right. Yeah.
I think that was on Sunday or whatever day it was, but we always listened to that. In the van with Dad. We would just sort of like take rubber bands and make sort of instruments with our dresser doors and stuff like that. We just listened to the radio a lot. I remember hearing More Than a Feeling really, really was a big deal for me. It was just fascinating, that whole majestic sound and the way that it opens up and turns a big thing. I remember hearing that on the radio. I remember Elton John, Don't Go Breaking My Heart. You're not, as a kid, you're not supposed to touch the volume knob and stuff like that. And I was the one going, just that sound, just the sound. I didn't know anything about that at the time, but I think looking back, it was like a production thing. That was really fascinating to me. My mom was really into Neil Diamond. There's an album called Beautiful Noise that was produced by Robbie Robertson. That has a really fascinating sound to it. That had a lot to do with all of that. And then, Kiss was, I couldn't listen to Kiss, but I could see them on TV. But by not being able to listen to them, we sort of knew they were like the best band in the world or something like that.
Right.
As a kid, you're like, you love what you can't have. So Mom took me one day, she said, we're going to Sears at the Livonia Mall. We're going to go buy the album with Desiree. But I don't think she knew the name of the album. So going upstairs, you have to go upstairs, and it was like with the refrigerators and everything. We're going upstairs, and I'm following behind her. I'm like probably 5 years old, maybe 6. I was following her, and she just stopped in her tracks, and I just about ran into her, and she turned around, and I didn't even know why. She turned around, and she goes, no. And I look around her, and it was right at that moment when Kiss had put out Alive 2, Double Platinum, and all 4 solo albums. So it was a whole wall of Kiss records and promotion, and just ruined her day, you know what I mean? So that's in the rock section, right? So she's like holding on to my arm, so I can't go over there, but she's going through records. She doesn't know what record she's looking for, and the Neil Diamond's got 1 million records.
Right.
So she's going through, and I'm squirreling away trying to look at Gene Simmons spitting blood. I remember that really vividly. And she found the record, and we went home and we listened to it, and it was good. I didn't hate her for not getting me a Kiss record. It was okay.
What guitar player would you say most influenced maybe your playing style or your love for the guitar?
Definitely Jimi Hendrix, I think, is the guy that I relate to the most. And part of it is because of his lyrics, his speaking, his brain, and his freedom on the guitar, his free flowing. You can listen to bootlegs and you can pull out all the mistakes if you want. You can do the same thing with Jimmy Page, but I don't know, there's something about that sound to me. And it's not just his famous records, I like all of it. And so I think he's kind of my overall, and Tino, from Dumpster Machine and the Diablos, Hendrix is our guy. I don't know if I have a favorite guitar player, but I have a favorite guy,
Right.
It's Jimi Hendrix.
On my way back home, I was walking along, saw your smile, it took me by surprise. Everywhere I go, I always know that I can look out there and I will find your eyes. Each time I find myself, I think I'm someone
Your band Face, like I mentioned in the intro, is going to be playing Toka Lounge March 8th. Tell me a little bit about...
Super excited.
Yeah,
Super excited.
And I know a lot of people are because it's a great lineup. And you guys haven't played a lot in the last, dozen years or whatever, I don't think. How did the band Face come about? How did you start that band? In other words, meet the members and decide you're going to put this band together. How'd that start?
We're all rolling around the scene, we were rolling around the music scene in the mid to late 90s. Just kind of all of us went to the jam sessions, the open jams. For me, that was a real education. To the education part, I realized that it was absolutely the best way to meet working musicians. You put out an ad. I did this with my previous band, Seed. We thought we wanted another guitar player, and the way I recorded the first album was I played my Flying V on the live tracks, and we put that in one speaker, and then I played a Les Paul on another track and put that in the other speaker, and we thought, okay, well, we got to find a guitar player. And we had all these, we put out an ad, and then we did auditions, and it was just like, we got some good players came in, but nobody had any originality. Or we had a guy come in that was like he sounded like The Edge, imitating David Gilmour, which he was good, but I thought I already kind of had the Pink Floyd thing covered, so I need something different. Guy, they were all, either they were completely nuts or a clone of somebody. And I was the first one to give up on that. I said, tell you what, you guys, I am worn out by these guys. It was after like a dozen of them. I said, I'm worn out. I go, if you guys want to keep auditioning guitar players, be my guest, but I'm done. And they kind of all looked and they went, we don't really need one, do we?
No, but getting back to Face.
Well, it's kind of the same thing. Well, that's why I brought that up. It's kind of the same thing. I might do guitar overdubs, but I was looking at it from the Jimi Hendrix and Jimmy Page perspective.
Right.
We're going to do overdubs, but so the question when you are a cover band trying to cover that, you go, well, what do you do? What you do is you go and listen to the live version, or you listen to a rehearsal when they wrote it, and all the important stuff is there, and that's what you play. That's the way that I play Face. If you listen to even our newest song, Not Good Enough, we put that out a couple of years ago. Well, there are overdubs on there. There's a part in the middle where there's lead guitar going through underneath the vocals. Well, that doesn't really come off live. If I play that little lead thing, it's going to compete with what Courtney's singing, and you're going to miss all of that bottom end of my chords. So it's an easy decision right there. I play the chord. That's the way it's always been played, except that one day that I was recording,
Right.
So when you hear something recorded, you need to fill some space, ear candy or whatever. Now, when you play live, you have this advantage of volume. It's all, your ears are full. You don't really need any more of that stuff. But if you hear it on a record, it would be kind of empty. Listen to The Song Remains the Same album, the live album of Led Zeppelin, and compare it to their studio stuff. And I'm not talking about, vocal cracks or anything. I'm talking about like the production. It's great because we love Led Zeppelin and because they're very good at being a four-piece.
Right.
But, if you listen to the record, it's got all that extra stuff.
Right.
And I think it needs it. It's not, to me, it's not overblown. It needs it. So that's my attitude with recording versus live, is it's two totally different things. And the volume covers all of that extra stuff that you don't need.
Getting back to Face, how did you meet the members? Was it just going out to these jams and hey, Steve, meeting Steve, or meeting, how did that come about?
It did come about from that. I first came back from California after Seed disbanded. I really was just coming back to be an intern in some studios and try to get some chops in the studio and maybe get a job doing that, and then go back out to California. And go back out and play with the singer from Seed. That was the plan. But I basically, after a couple months, I did start interning at the United Sound. Okay. United Sound. That's where Funkadelic did a bunch of stuff. And, really a classic, amazing studio, United Sound Studio. So I was fortunate and lucky enough that I started interning there with Carl Robinson as my teacher. And he's a fantastic guitar player and engineer. He really was just kind of relaxed and let me just kind of be a fly on the wall. I got to work with George Clinton, when he was mixing, and Blackbird playing guitar, and that was really fascinating. And so since I was, working there as an intern, I eventually brought in my band Face. But what you're talking about before that, we were all just going to open jams. And I met Mike Bertrand, the bass player. I met him, I was out at a jam with a drummer who introduced me to Mike, got along pretty well. And he's a really unique bass player, very strong bass player. He's got a personality, right? Bass playing has this great personality, and it was immediately attractive to me. So I had a singer, I brought him in, we had a different drummer. You know, the thing about playing music in a local sort of way is somehow you got to survive. So that's why people are switching bands all the time and that kind of stuff. It's really hard to keep a band together if you're not all getting paid and all that stuff. So this previous singer and me went through a lot of different rhythm sections, and Mike was in one of them. And then he left for whatever reason. We're out looking for drummers and bass players and whatever, and we ran into Steve Fernino. He was playing at the Studio Lounge, and they had an open jam, and he was I think he was in the house band, whoever that was. And so we listened to him for a while, and then I might have gone up and jammed, I don't remember. But I ran into him again, like maybe a couple of weeks later, because I went to the New Way Bar Jam. Bobby East was playing there. I think they were called the Reefer Men, but it was they had a different singer. It was Yard Dog Jones, I think was his name. Really amazing guy. He was great. He was a harmonica player. So Steve was playing with them. At some point that night, he and I ended up at the bar hanging out together. We just had a really interesting conversation, and at this point now we jammed once. I told him that I had a singer and blah, blah, blah. So he joined that band, and then I have no idea which bass player that was. And at some point I called Mike Bertrand up, and I said, hey, come back. I got a drummer now. I got the guy, and so he did. And so that band went on for like a year. That was called High Blue Vibe. Diane Jaraduzzi is the singer. We did some demo tapes, and stuff that are pretty cool. But she was in a totally different direction than these guys. Sort of when I started jamming with them, they sort of reminded me of what I really wanted to do. I was doing her thing at that time, which is really cool. She's into like early Aretha Franklin and more soul music, not heavy. Let's just put it that way, right? So these guys come in and they're reminding me of what I really want to do. The three of us can maybe sound like Badlands or something like that, which was my thing. So we started hanging out more, and we started writing music together, just jamming, and I was recording everything. And so at some point we got like 10 new songs, and we presented them to our singer, and I really appreciate her honesty and boldness. She just flat out said, I'm not into that. That's just not the kind of music that I want to play. So that wasn't exactly the end, but it was a good signal that it might be the end, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
But I really appreciate, I'm not talking bad about her. I think she's a friend and she's great. But taste, you can't play with people who aren't going to play your music. Right. And she writes. She's a writer, right? So she's got 1 million songs. We played them all eventually. So anyways, it just became really obvious after that she needs a new band and we needed a new singer, and it was her band name. So we said goodbye, and it's all good. And now we're not with a singer, it's kind of frightening. Like I said, I already learned about putting out ads. I don't want anything to do with that. So we just kind of put it out word of mouth that we need a singer. Then we auditioned a few people. There was a guy, I don't know his last name, but John was really good. And it didn't matter. We didn't care if it was a female or a male singer. I just knew that I didn't want to play heavy metal. And those guys were kind of in a metal phase at that moment, so they would throw something that sounded like Iron Maiden, and I would try to play CCR on top of that. John Fogerty plays Iron Maiden.
Right.
It works. Right. There's a specific song I'm thinking about. It's on the First Face album called The Way You Move. And it's the whole long intro to that is exactly what I'm talking about. And if you just listen to the two of them, it's Iron Maiden. But once I put my thing on there, it's not anymore.
Were they doing, when you mentioned Iron Maiden, you're talking a bass player and a drummer, were they doing that galloping kind of style that Iron Maiden
That's exactly what I'm talking about.
That kind of thing?
Exactly what I'm talking about.
Oh, okay. And you're doing
Absolutely.
the CCR thing over that.
I'm playing Fortunate Son on top of Iron Maiden is what
on
I'm
top
doing.
of Trooper.
Exactly.
That's great.
Yeah, so we went about auditioning a few singers, and at this point we're all in the Howling Diablo scene over there at the Bear's Den, which is just at this point just chock, wall to wall, just awesome, and lots of musicians, and everybody's sitting in. Tino and Diablos are actually letting people sit in, so it just was a really amazing scene. And Courtney came out of that too. Somebody from that scene called me up. He was somebody who used to come out and see us. Actually, I avoided his calls. He was kind of a little crazy, kind of a lot crazy. I thought he was my singer's biggest fan, so when he started calling my parents' house, I was like, he's not happy with me right now. So it was about his third or fourth call. I called him back, and he's like, hey, you guys are looking for a singer, right? I'm like, yeah. He goes, I saw a singer singing with the Howling Diablos, and I got her phone number. And so it was Courtney. So I call her up, and her dad answers, and Courtney has just had a bad car accident. accident and she's out of commission, like in the hospital, out of commission. I had this really great conversation with her dad, and I basically said, we heard really amazing things about her. Tell her we'll wait for her. You know, whenever she's ready to come and check us out, we'll check her out and, you know, have a nice day. So it was about, you know, a couple or 3 weeks later, and she called, and we all, we had a gig booked as a 3-piece at this place called the Sunset Grill. I had fun there. They had like a Tuesday jam that I used to go to, which is actually, that's where I met Diane, the previous singer. And so now I have a gig there as a 3-piece, and the idea is that she's going to show up there, grab a mic, and we'll see what happens. We get there and the place is closed down. Yep. We get to the gig and the place is closed down. Just 4 of us too. We didn't bring any friends with us that night. It was all 4 of us were there. It was the first time we're meeting Courtney in person. I talked with her on the phone, of course. But yeah, we all met there and nobody was there. So we all hung out in the parking lot and just, you know, had a conversation and hung out, and we all liked each other. And so let's get together and jam and see what happens. Courtney likes to sing a lot of songs that guys sang before, you know what I mean? She brought in we're not a cover band per se, but we've had phases where we wanted to go out and make money so that we could go and record. So we went out and played a bunch of bars and learned a bunch of covers, and Courtney's bringing, you know, you want to do it with the singer. So Courtney's bringing in stuff like I'm Bad Nationwide by ZZ Top. To hear Courtney sing that song is a treat. And she doesn't change any words. You know, I got a bad bitch in front and I got 3 more in the back. That doesn't mean she's into that. That just means that she knows the song. And bringing in that kind of stuff, she'll tell you her favorite singer is Donovan. Are you kidding me? Who does Donovan, right? So she's like, why don't you guys learn Sunshine Super? Okay, we tried it. I'm not sure that many people know that, but that's Jimmy Page.
I now believe it.
Right, so that's her bag, you know. So, and she loves Velvet Underground, and
And she's younger than you guys, is that?
yeah, she's maybe 5 years younger than us, 5 or 6 years younger than us. The
Did-
boys are about 2 years apart.
Did she learn this kind of like art skill or likeness from her parents? Do you know? Did her uncles or whatever bring her up on that kind of music?
I think she came up. I think she came up the same way that I sort of described how I came up. I think we all came up sort of. I think Steve is kind of the only one that really had family members that were like really good players. Like Steve has an uncle that absolutely taught him how to play drums. I mean, it's Uncle Fred. To play with Uncle Fred one time, Steve was like, "You got to come up and play with Uncle Fred," and I did. I was like, I got off the stage and I go, "Wow, I have never ever played with two drummers that feel the same," you know, in a good way. You know what I mean? Yeah, that was really fun. You know, just I'm all about the. I wouldn't say I'm a history buff, but I'm not. But I'm interested in like historic thing and hearing history. I guess some would say that I'm randomly into history, but really into music history, how past affects the present and the future.
Now, speaking of which, listening to you as far as who you played with, you know, doing the thing with the Howling Diablos, Tino G, being a big Hendrix fan, would you say that your style of playing and the bands, as far as Faith, would be more blues oriented? Is everything pretty much, you know, cemented into the blues feel?
Yes. Yeah, that's the basis of what good rock and roll is, and country music. None of us are real big country fans, but you can't avoid it. If you like the Rolling Stones, you like country. I got no interest in like modern country cookie cutter stuff. That's just not. But if you want to talk about Hank Williams Jr., that's a different story.
This next one is off our album, and I hope y'all like it. It's Mullet Head.
None of your stuff is like, you know, you mentioned Kiss and Ace Frehley and Motley Crue. None of your stuff borderlines on that kind of rock or metal, does it?
Well, yes, I think so. I think we do have those influences all the time, definitely. I think that it's not so much that you can have a song that isn't, you could say a song has a Motley Crue influence on, say, one of the instruments, and yet you come off, let's say, just for, I don't have an example exactly, but let's just say Courtney's thinking about Aretha Franklin that day, and Mike B is thinking about Fishbone, and Steve's thinking about Motley Crue, and I'm thinking about John Fogerty. Well, it's just a matter of, that's what a band is. It's the combination of all the parts. Put that together, and tone count. I could play something that maybe was influenced by Mick Mars, but since my guitar tone isn't really like his, I think sometimes it is. If I tune my guitar down like him, then I think it does kind of sound like him. And that's part of it. I'm in standard tuning usually. You know, we tune 440. I might tune in alternate tunings, but we're not tuned down. Motley Crue is tuned down a whole step. So all of a sudden you have a different sound. And that's why they're tuned. That's why Van Halen is tuned down. And as soon as they switch singers to Sammy Hagar, they're in standard tuning. Part of the sound, they made a conscious decision to not sound like the old band. Bass isn't trying to sound like anybody, but maybe song by song, you know, you'd say, oh, you know, like kind of like this guy, or you know what I mean? You're like, oh, do it like that.
You know, has anybody at any of your shows in the past or whatever said, wow, I really dig what you guys are doing, man. This reminds me of any specific band?
Yeah, we get the Black Crowes thing. I think that has a lot to do with the way that Courtney sings, and maybe the way I play guitar, but I think it's more about how Courtney sings. And it's an attitude thing, you know, and we are influenced by the Black Crowes.
Right.
Steve was influenced by the Black Crowes. We don't sound anything.
I see.
You know,
now, does she sing? Does she have a higher pitched voice?
Courtney?
Or is it more mid range or whatever? I mean, does she sing kind of like a Pat Benatar or more like a Joe Jett or somewhere in between?
When you're younger, you have, especially coming out of the 80s, I think there was a tendency to really stretch for the high stuff. You know, and Chris Robinson has a pretty high voice also, you know, if you're even in that blues sort of zone, you know. So yeah, she's got a range, you know. She can sing low, but she's got some amazing high note, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Courtney's got power. That's the most important part. Like,
so this show that you've got coming up at the Token, like I said, Saturday, March 8th,
yes, sir.
As far as the material you're going to do, will it pretty much represent the band from the beginning all the way up to, you know, whenever? Or,
I think so.
Got some new tricks up your sleeve as far as arrangements for these songs?
We've never had a lack of material. We're always listening to each other. We're always recording each other, writing songs. We like writing together. We fight because we're passionate, and then we make up after, you know. We fight over, you know, it's just how it is. We're brothers and sisters.
Yeah, it's like a family. A band is like a family, absolutely.
Yeah, and then we laugh about it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, sorry I was so serious about something that totally doesn't matter. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do.
So, you know, so I'll tell you what about that is, like, growing up, since now we have all this time behind us, wow, that part's so much easier to navigate, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Nobody's leaving angry. Nobody's leaving, you know, thinking that they didn't get their idea through or some shit like that. It's not like that at all. We're happy to be there. We're happy to be in the room with each other, and we're happy to yield to the guy who is maybe more passionate about his idea, you know? I mean, if I got an idea and the other guy's just really, you know, then you should listen to him or her. You know, Courtney doesn't play guitar necessarily, you know. She can play a few chords. She can sit down at the drums, and any of us can sit down on the drums and play a beat, but we all have what we're good at, and that's what our role is in that band. But because we know how to play each other's instruments, kind of, we can have influence on each other. If she wants to, she can say, give me your guitar. If she wants my guitar and wants to show me something, she's got a guitar at her house. You know, if she's playing with her guitar and comes up with something and wants me to play it, absolutely, here's my guitar, play it. Same with the drums. Steve, like I said, writes a lot on guitar, so there's been rehearsals where Steve wants to play my guitar and I'm just sitting there with nothing to do. I'm bored. Not bored, but you know what I mean? I want to play. So I'll sit down and play on the drums, and the other two have to sort of suffer through our terrible playing, you know? But sometimes that's how you write a song.
Yeah, absolutely. You've got to have that yin and yang, or give and take kind of thing, and understand and be patient.
Performance has nothing to do with writing, and writing has nothing to do with performance.
No, you're absolutely right. Well, let's end out this interview here with a little bit about what's coming up. I know that you're doing, obviously, this gig at the Token. What else have you got on the agenda as far as, other gigs with other groups or whatever? What else is happening?
I have a couple other things going. I want to reiterate the Face show is kind of a rarity sort of thing that's really what's exciting about that show. Obviously for us it's about getting together and getting to play again, but what's really exciting about the Token show on March 8th is that all 4 bands, Overloaded is going to be the headlining band. They stuck it out the longest and got an actual following and all of that, and we're really grateful that they came on and last as our headliner. We haven't played in a long time. We got no interest in trying to do that. We just want to play a show,
Sure.
Overloaded, Face, Blasternaut, and Mighty Jones, we're all friends. We all played together back in the day. We've played in each other's bands. Steve's brother, John, is actually the drummer for Blasternaut.
Right,
Steve used to be in that band. So it's really about a bunch of friends getting together and sort of having a reunion party, playing some music, and the stars aligning is really what happened. The stars aligned and we get to do this, and look, there's an advertisement. Now we have to do it. We're so giddy, it's ridiculous, and the singer for Blasternaut, Ted, he's got this other thing called Stereo Babe, completely fanatical about.
I love that band. I love Stereo Babe.
So it's and Overloaded, Chris, the singer, is just one of the best singers around. The drummer for Mighty Jones, Super B, it's just all of these people are, I only got time to mention a couple of them, but I know all of them. We're all buds, we're all going to be backstage having a beer and a smoke, and we're all going to be there watching each other's bands. We're not hiding backstage. We're the audience, and that's how this is happening. We are the audience of this music. I've heard Nikki Sixx say that, and a whole lot of other people. I've heard Van Halen talk about it. We're the audience. The band is the audience. If you love the music that you're playing, not doing it for any other reason than love, then the best thing that can happen. This is a celebration of a bunch of old friends. The audience we're going to know everybody in the audience. It's going to be just awesome.
Like a 90s reunion, right? Because that's when
it's billed as what does it say? It came from the 2000s. Is what it says.
Late 90s, 2000. Yeah,
that's March 8th. February 27th is a Thursday. Dumpster Machine, Tino G's Dumpster Machine, is opening up for Brett Michaels at the Soundboard. I used to work for Brett, so that's a really cool thing for me. I had nothing to do with getting that gig, so it's a really cool coincidence that I'm going to get to see my boys. And
that's awesome.
They just played here a few months ago, so I went and hung out with those guys, and that's going to be a really cool show. That's going to be really interesting having, our kind of band open up for that kind of a band.
Yeah.
And you might think that there's no real musical connection. I think there really is. Poison is based off of rock and roll and blues, and that's where we're coming from too. And I think that, they would like our music as much as we like their music. Putting up for Brett's going to be really cool. And then a couple days after that is March 1st. This is a really important one for everyone involved. My band, Sweet Revenge, which goes back to, high school, we reformed like maybe 11 or 12 years ago because we were asked to do a hall party sort of reunion benefit for autism because we have a couple old friends that have autistic children. So we said, we'll do it. And then they asked us to do it it was successful. They asked us to do it the next year. So we did it. So now we've been doing it. We only missed one time since 2013, and that was because of COVID.
Right, of course.
Whatever date it was, I remember 2021, I guess
Right.
is the one we didn't do. But we've done everyone since that, or everyone besides that, and it's really become so much bigger than us and what it originally started with. It's this huge reunion of Redford Union High School and beyond, and it's not just like the class of 89 or whatever.
Right.
It's like 1984 through 1994 or something, like 95 or something. It's just really amazing. There's like little brothers and little sisters of friends and older brothers,
Right.
and stuff like that, of people that we knew back then, and that's really incredible. That's also, that reminds me of, I was on the road for a long time with Tom Kiefer. We did the Monsters of Rock cruise a bunch of times, and that has also become this whole like community thing, much bigger and so much more than anybody imagined. We're older now. We've got some life behind us, and you really appreciate these things if you can get a community of people to take a night off and contribute to a cause, or, you know, and have a really good time and forget about politics and forget about personal problems and, you know, all of that stuff, and just go out and have a party and have a really good time and make it all about love. You know, I sound like a hippie. Whatever Ozzy says, that's what we're trying to do.
You said it was going to be an 80s theme thing, right?
Oh yeah, it is. It's totally an 80s bash. It's like there's a costume party. This couple showed up dressed as ZZ Top a couple of years ago with the spinning fuzzy guitars. It was awesome. People show up dressed as Kiss. People show up dressed as Tawny Katane. People show up as Prince, Tom Cruise from Risky Business, or whatever you can think of. The girls that were in the Cinderella videos, not just music, TV, movies, anything. And so our music, Sweet Revenge, the music we play is 100% covers. We wrote some songs in high school, but none of them matter. We play covers, and there are 80s. A lot of our stuff is like the one-hit wonders, like, you know, Split Ends, I Got You, stuff like that. The Metro by Berlin, Purple Rain obviously isn't a one-hit wonder, but that's on the list. Mostly it's like we're not like a hard rock band, right? That's not where we like that, but we're trying to be a little bit more universal, and we'll throw in stuff like There's Only One Way to Rock by Sammy Hagar. You know, third set's going to be a little bit heavier, but it's more about that sort of new wave sort of thing. I think that's what we really are, but we don't have a keyboard. So that's how I think we make it ours. It's a little more guitar. Brad Nestor is the other guitar player. His role is he's playing all of that stuff that would have been done on keyboards. Mostly, you know, he's playing like the sounds like that. He's got sound effects and stuff. We're a 5-piece. We have a lead singer, but the rest of us also sing lead. So it's really, I sing a few songs, Bill sings a few songs, Brad sings a few songs, and Dave sings most of the songs.
So anyway, where is this benefit show at?
Okay, so the 80s throwback party, the hall party featuring Sweet Revenge, is going to be Saturday, March 1st, 2025, from 6 p.m. till midnight. It's at the VFW Hall 3323. That's the number of the VFW. It's in Westland. It's the Harris Carer Post. The address is 1055 Wayne Road, Westland. I believe that's across from a bowling alley right down the street from the Taco Bell that used to be the Studio Lounge.
Exactly.
80s party. I guarantee you it's the biggest, coolest 80s party of the year, and we do it. We're raising money for charity, and
that's awesome.
Just having a good time, and it's a throwback, and there's contests, and, you know, we auction off things like an original Atari.
Oh shit.
Yeah, like crap like that. Like we go on eBay and look for this stuff and then auction it off.
That's very cool.
Bring a few records this time. I'm going to bring a few of my, which I love. You know, Jimi Hendrix said that before he burned his guitar. So I'm going to sacrifice something I really love here.
All right, Mike. Well, you have a good night, man. And
I'll
again,
see you at some of these shows.
Oh, you'll definitely. And now that I know, nothing against you and Sweet Revenge, but now that I know that Brad is part of that, I really want to make that for sure.
Brad's our social butterfly.
Yeah, I know he is.
Yeah, he's our social butterfly. There's absolutely a very good reason for all of us being in that band.
All right, man. Like I said, thanks again, and good luck to everything and everybody. Say hello to Brad for me. We'll talk soon.
Sounds great, brother. I'll talk to you.
Take care. Bye-bye.
All right, bye, James.
Well, that was Mike Smith from the band Face. And as he also mentioned, he plays with Tino G and the Dumpster Machine. He's played with the Howling Diablos. He was a guitar tech for not only Bret Michaels, but Tom Keither. They're going to be playing his band Face. He's going to be playing, like we mentioned, Token Lounge, Saturday, March 8th, along with the excellent lineup, Overloaded, Blasternaut, and the Mighty Jones Band. That should be just one hell of a show. He's also doing the benefit gig, like he said, for autism. And he's also doing the gig with Tino G and the Dumpster Machine, opening up for Bret Michaels at the soundboard. Hey, if you're into vintage stereo equipment like I am, and you need anything repaired, check out my friends at 7 Grand Audio. They know their stuff. They've been in business for over 40 years. They're at 25642 7 Mile Road in South Redford. Phone number there is 313-533-5635. Dash and Harry are two of the best in the business. They can fix anything from receivers, turntables, tape decks, EQs, anything you can think of as far as vintage gear or otherwise. Anyway, they're open Monday through Friday, 10 to 6. And hey, tell them Jimmy sent you. And as I like to always say, keep rocking.